2 days after Hurricane Melissa, the sun rose slowly over Jamaica, its light dull and orange behind a haze of mist and mud. Numerous valleys looked broken, roads cracked open like ruptured old scars, houses tilting, farmlands drowned in brown water. The air felt heavy, broken zinc sheets flapping like frightened birds, the faint drip of water everywhere, the scent of fresh tears and crushed lives. In Guy's Hill, 9-year-old Marvin stood barefoot on the veranda, fixated with his tablet and marveling at pictures of the hurricane damage from across the island. Roads had disappeared, some submerged, bridges and houses split in two, landslides cutting off communities from one another. His father Carl and grandfather Papa Ken sat nearby in silence. The roof creaked in the wind's sighs. "Hurricane Melissa," Papa Ken muttered. "Teach we a lesson we should have learned a long time, Jamaica need to build with sense. House, road, people, every striking thing." Carl had graduated from UTech years earlier, civil engineering major, logistics minor. He had dreamed of joining the National Works Agency designing bridges, highways, and drainage systems that could stand the test of time and the turbulence of nature. But jobs were scarce, and he didn't have any links to get into the public sector, and private sector companies wanted experience he didn't have. So, after sending countless resumes and waiting for callbacks that never came, he returned to the hills where he started farming cilantro, rosemary, parsley, strawberries, and blueberries that he sold to hotels and restaurants. It wasn't what he'd planned for his future, but it was honest, and it was a good living, and furthermore, it connected him to the land. He'd even taught some community members about crop rotation, soil pH, and water retention. Now, Melissa had jeopardized it all. That night, by lamplight, Carl scrolled through images of collapsed culverts and washed-up roads. The soil had liquefied under the rain, it seemed. No proper retaining walls, inadequate or no subsurface drainage, no slope benching. He realized the problem wasn't just the hurricane, it was how Jamaica was built. Lana, we can't fix one part of this thing alone, he told his wife. We have to re-engineer the whole system, from how we love cutting to the hillside them, to how we love catch-up house just anyway, and just about how we build everything, and even how we respond when things fall apart. A week later, Carl gathered neighbors at the church hall, farmers, masons, taximen, teachers, everybody. On a blackboard salvaged from the school, he drew 3 circles and wrote, "Infrastructure, housing, farming. All of them connect," he began. "If the road no good, the farmer can't reach market. The same bad road are going to prevent aid from reaching the community in the event of this kind of catastrophe. If the house no built on solid foundation as we see, it a go mash up. If the soil not stable, all 3 gone one time. But we also need to talk about logistics, how we prepare, how we deploy, how we mobilize, how we move supplies, how we rebuild for when the next one come, because it a go come." He began outlining not just an engineering plan, but a logistical master plan for recovery. Carl and Marvin walked along a broken roadway the next day. Carl pointed to a section where the asphalt had collapsed into a muddy trench. "You see this, Marvin? The road slipped because them never test the soil. No geotechnical report, no compaction testing, which would have facilitated them taking the appropriate remediation steps to mitigate or prevent this. A bare marl and clay, water soak it and the hole being shift. And if them did do the testing and get the results, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. a man-eater food. He explained, roads must be built with proper geotechnical guidance, identifying soil type, moisture content, and bearing capacity. Drainage systems must be redesigned for modern rainfall patterns, not the averages from before we were born, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Bridges should use pile foundations and flexible bearings to handle floods. Retaining walls need weep holes and geotextile membranes for proper drainage. He cited a headline from Reuters. Over 200 roads damaged across the island. That's inexcusable, Marvin. These failures aren't just from the hurricane alone. They're abject structural neglect and incompetence. Carr proposed a community engineering corps to train parish workers on building climate-resilient roads using methods like modular interlocking concrete, constructing culverts with proper gradient to improve runoff, and using plants like vetiver and bamboo to stabilize embankments, among other soil erosion prevention methods. We can't sit down and wait upon the central government alone, Carl told them. Every district must have the knowledge to maintain their own lifeline. As Carl's ideas gained attention, local leaders invited him to join the parish disaster committee. Here, he learned up close firsthand about Jamaica's gaps, not just in construction, but in response logistics. He stood before a whiteboard with emergency managers, engineers, soldiers from the JDF Corps of Engineers, among other interested parties. Disaster management has to start before the storm, not after, Carl said. We need pre-positioned logistics, warehouses, supply hubs, emergency corridors, and things of the like. He broke it down into 3 operational stages. 1. Immediate response, 0 to 72 hours. Supply chain activation. Pre-designed suppliers of fuel, water, food, tarp, medical supplies. Mobilized through the National Emergency Operations Center. Logistics clustering. Assigning priority routes for relief trucks. Mapping which bridges and roads are passable through GIS and drone data. Decentralized warehousing. Each parish equipped with stocked microdepots with at least 3-day supplies for self-sufficiency. Airlift and marine nodes, places that could be used as helicopter pads such as football fields, cricket pitches, that can be quickly converted for rapid supply movement when roads fail. Step 2, intermediate recovery, 3 days to 3 months. Damage assessment grids, teams deployed with technology for synchronized data upload via NIDP, the National Infrastructure Damage Portal. Resource allocation software matching needs, tarps, water generators, medical care, with available stock in real time and also real-time deployment to the necessary needed areas. Public works prioritization, emergency contracts to repair high-traffic roads and restore utility corridors promptly. Logistics for livelihoods, electricity, fuel, and other necessary supplies, prioritized for warehousing, farmers, and truckers to restart supply chains. 3. Long-term reconstruction, 3 months to 5 years. Resilient supply corridors. Reinforced main arteries like Bogwalk Gorge, Junction Road, Holland Bamboo, etc., rebuilt with climate standards or reinforced with climate standards. Disaster resilient zoning, mapping no-build floodplains and landslide-prone slopes. National Materials Database, tracking available cement, steel, and aggregates to reduce post-disaster price gouging. Community logistics training, youth programs teaching storage management, fuel rationing, and emergency dispatch principles and protocol. Adopt first world infrastructure practices, paved drainage channels, engineered retaining walls, flood-resistant roads, and proper zoning to mitigate hillside construction. Public education, that speaks for itself. educating the public on proper construction methods, because Jamaica is a place where a lot of self-construction occurs. Carl envisioned a Jamaica where engineering met logistics, where recovery was as scientific as construction itself. The next Sunday, Carl met with some builders and homeowners outside a cracked concrete house. He touched a broken column and said softly, "The column them too hollow, them too shallow. Water go underneath, wash it out. Look at this, the rebar spacing wrong. We have to do better. The pocket them in and the block not filling properly." He handed them a basic improvised engineering process for rebuilding. Hurricane straps and anchor bolts for roof, shear walls for lateral stability, raised foundations in all areas, whether or not it's flood prone or not, with proper footing, rainwater harvesting and overflow drains integrated into basic home design. He referenced Jamaica's 2023 building code, urging enforcement through parish-level engineering reviews. Even if you build your own house, you should have a properly approved blueprint and at least do the little things like soil check with the appropriate measures taken based on the results. One man mistake or negligence can turn into a community disaster. He also proposed community resilience workshops. Engineers and other professionals like architects volunteering to train rural builders on modern methods using locally available materials. Up on the hill, Con and Papa Ken began replanting. He referred to engineering-grade contour maps to redesign his terraces. They dug catchment basements, installed French drains, and used permeable pipes to redirect runoff. "Agriculture is engineering too, Marvin," Carl told his son. "Every root is a foundation. Every ridge is a wall." He mused how awesome it would be if there was like a UTech RADA collaboration, something you could call Farms That Hold the Hill, an initiative merging soil science, hydrology, and crop logistics. Each farm would be mapped by drone for slope and water flow, designed with natural buffers like vetiver, banana rows, and integrated into community drainage grids. And it would also be linked to post-harvest cold storage hubs for efficient transport and food security. If the road cut off, we have to have short-term storage and alternate routes. Food supply is logistics too. Marvin couldn't stop thinking. He began envisioning things and he started sketching ideas for his vision of what he was calling New Jamaica. Roads that curved with the hillsides, terraces shaped like green staircases, and supply depots tucked safely in logical areas. My daddy say, you can't build on slopes that no slide, build roads that don't wash away, and I could be an engineer like him, but one that work for the little people. His friend Kingon laughed. "Me I can learn technological farming so I can feed the engineer them." When his mother saw the drawings, she smiled. "Marvin, what you drawing, son?" "A new Jamaica, mommy. One we build smart so no storm can blow we down in the future." That evening, the three generations sat on the repaired veranda, watching the valley glow in the twilight. Papa Ken sipped his bush tea and thought, "Me live long enough to see we build fast and we lose faster." Hurricane Melissa come to remind we, progress without planning is failure. Carl nodded. "Exactly, Daddy. Melissa showed me that first world not just mean rich, it mean ready. Ready for plan, ready for respond, ready for rebuild." Weeks later, Carr decided to do a video to share his thoughts and combat some of the misinformation on social media. He titled it, "Re-Engineering Jamaica, Infrastructure, Housing, Farming, and Logistics in Sync." He laid out a transformation plan rooted in science and self-reliance. His slides showed reinforced roads built with slope sensors and smart drainage, houses with anchoring systems, pilings, rock bolts, terracing, and French drains, farms stabilized and connected by GIS logistics networks, community hubs stocked with fuel, water, and medical supplies for emergencies. He ended, "We shouldn't just wait upon help from foreign. We have to position ourselves to be our own saviors. 1 ounce of prevention can cure a lot of what we're suffering from right now. The expertise we need already there, in our head, in our hands, and in our land." It went viral. Months later, parts of Jamaica looked reborn. New roads held firm, homes were being rebuilt on solid land and with solid engineering intelligence. Farms were sprouting green against terraced, reinforced slopes. Some parishes now had disaster logistics centers, led by trained personnel who managed emergency supplies and bridged the gaps between governance, technology, and the populace. The government was working to reformat building codes and to provide grants so people could rebuild smartly. As rain clouds gathered again, Marvin stood beside his father watching the valley. No fear, just peace. "Daddy," he said, "Melissa mashed up plenty things, but she gave you the blueprint to build back better." Carl smiled. "That's the truth, son. When the next catastrophic storm comes, Jamaica land we love will be ready." In the distance, thunder rumbled softly, not as a threat, but as applause for a nation that had persevered the ravages of Hurricane Melissa and was giving the world a masterclass in little but Talawa.